Hey guys, it's Jason Karan-Cole here from the Omni Sales team, and today we've got an awesome video on explaining the success formula. So the success formula is going to take us through a 7-step system of how to get whatever it is that we want in the world, or how we can achieve success. Now, what is success? Let's start there. Success is simple. Success is the attainment or the achievement of whatever it is that we want in the world. So when we look at step 1, for example, step 1 of the success formula is simply establish what it is that you want. So in order for us to be successful in anything, the first thing we need to do is define what that success is to us. Now, this is the beautiful thing with success, is success is a subjective view. It's a subjective outlook on life, which means it's in the person that looks at it, it's what they deem as success. So when we talk about success being achieving or getting whatever it is we want in our life, the first thing we want to do is establish what it is that we want. So I want you to take a big think about this. Even in this video while we're talking right now, I want you to think genuinely about what it is that you actually want in life. Don't use other people's success metrics. Use your own. So if it is that, like, I'll look up to this person, let's say it's, I don't know, Tony Robbins, and I want to be just like Tony Robbins. Well, what is it about Tony Robbins' life that you actually want? What is it that you want? Want is the key word. I really want you to understand that word there. In order for us to attain success or achieve success, we need to know what it is we want. So let's say it's Tony Robbins' life. I look up and I'm like, I want Tony Robbins' life. Okay, well, what is it that I want out of his life? Do I want the fame? Do I want the money? Do I want the feeling of impact? Do I want to just be standing on stages? What of that is it that you want specifically? Once we can establish what that is, we can then move into the next steps. But until we establish what it is that we want, we're never going to be able to get to success because we don't know what it is we're chasing or achieving. So if I say I want to be just like Tony Robbins, okay, does that mean if I go and spend a day in front of some kids on a stage and do some motivation chats with them, is that success to what Tony Robbins' level is? Probably not. It's probably meaning standing on stage in front of 10,000 people or something like that. But until you know what that is for you and what your subjective view of that success is, we can't move on. So step 1, I want you to think long and hard. Pause the video if you have to and really think about it, what it is that I want in this life. What is it that I want to achieve or attain? So what is the materialistic things? What is the impact I want to give? What is it that I want to be able to do? All of these things is what we want. And the success formula starts with establishing what we want. Now, once we know what we want, what tends to happen? We tend to get that beautiful word fear. And fear is usually what we get when we think of what we want. So when I think of what it is, whatever it is that I want, let's say it's being like Tony Robbins and speaking on stages, I might get the fear of thinking, oh my God, what would it feel like 50,000 people looking at me while I'm speaking? Like, what if I said the wrong thing? What if I got rejected on stage by 50,000 people? How would that make me feel? What happens if I start going out there and trying to promote my message and people shoot me down? What happens when I tell my parents? What happens when I post on social media and the haters come for me? Fear is going to be the thing that you're feeling because it's usually what we get when we think of what we want. When you truly sit down and start to think about what it is you want, fear creeps in because it's always like, I don't know if I'm going to do this right. I don't want to fail. I'm afraid I'm going to be laughed at. Everything that comes down in success, ultimately there's going to be a hint, or for some people, or an overflow of fear coming through. So once we've established that fear is usually what we get when we think about what we want, what do we do with the fear, or how does the fear fit in? That's where we take what's called unknown action. So unknown action is the result of acting on your fear. So once it is that you know what you want, you might not know how to get there. That's where the fear sets in. You're then going to start taking action because the only way to get anything in life is you have to take massive action. If I just sit there and think about what it is I want, it's never going to come to me. I call it the fisherman mentality. If I'm a fisherman just casting my line in the water, waiting for what I want, in this life, I'm not going to get it unless I'm trying to fish. So we need to take action. Massive action is the key. But what we're taking actually is unknown action. Why is it unknown? Because we don't know how to get what we want, because we've never had it before, or we've never achieved it before. So the fear sets in, and unknown action is the result of acting on our fear. Now, from unknown action, what happens? Bad judgment is formed. So bad judgment is the result of taking unknown action. Now, when we take any action, what are the only two outcomes that can occur? We can either have good judgment and get what we want and become successful, or we have bad judgment and we end up failing and we screwed up. Either way, it doesn't matter. Both of them lead to success at the end of the day. If you ended up just taking unknown action and accidentally stumbling on the success formula or the success tactics, or you attained success, then bravo, you got lucky, but you got there. But even if I take action and I end up making the wrong decision and taking what we call bad judgment is still going to lead me there. Why? Because it shows something I shouldn't do in the future. It's the way not to get there. So if I'm looking at all the possible ways to get there, and let's say I have 10 ways, I can now knock out one. Boom. So bad judgment is the result of taking unknown action. Now, what happens from bad judgment? Bad judgment is amazing. Why? Because as I said, it knocks out one of those options. What it gives us is experience. So experience is often the result of bad judgment. So anytime we take action and something goes wrong, we take unknown action and it goes wrong, we're gaining experience. And experience ultimately will lead us to success because we're learning, we're developing a mindset that shows us the right direction to move in. So if experience is often the result of bad judgment, what is experience lead to, or what does experience lead to? Well, obviously, if we've just experienced bad judgment, when we use our experience, it's going to lead us to good judgment. So good judgment is the result of experience. So once we've gone through like a few times, we've made bad judgment, bad judgment, bad judgment, bad judgment, we've gained all the experience of all the things not to do. So what can it only lead to? It can only lead to good judgment. And that's the key. The way we've gone from establishing what we want and having fear, taking unknown action, feeling bad judgment, experience, we've eventually got to good judgment. And what does good judgment lead to? Success is just the result of good judgment. So once we have the right answer or the right program or the right play to run, once we have that, all success is taking action on good judgment. So once we have the thing to do, we just need to take action and move towards that thing. So that's what the success formula is. It's very simple, guys. The success formula for anyone in this life is so simple. Why? Because it doesn't matter if you have no skill. It doesn't matter if you've never done it before. It doesn't matter if everybody laughs at you. If you follow those 7 steps, you are guaranteed to achieve success in your subjective view. Why? Because you've gone through each step. You established what you want, which means you came up with what you want. Fear is usually what we get when we think of what we want. Why? Because we're afraid we're going to fail. Unknown action is the result of acting on our fear. Why? Because if we knew what to do and we knew exactly the steps to take and we weren't going to be laughed at and no one was going to judge us, we wouldn't have any fear. So unknown action can only come from taking action on fear. Bad judgment is then the result of taking unknown action. So once we've taken that unknown action, we've developed a bad judgment. That bad judgment then leads to experience. That experience that we've developed leads to good judgment, and that good judgment leads to success. So ultimately what we get is once we establish what it is that we want, that leads to fear. Once the fear has been felt, we're probably going to make some unknown actions. Those unknown actions are going to lead to bad judgment. Those bad judgments are going to lead to experience. Experience is going to lead to good judgment, and then good judgment ultimately leads to success. So I don't care what it is that you want. I don't care how you feel about this world. I don't care about any possible thing you can complain or blame or explain yourself away. It's simple. If you want to be successful in your life, decide what it is you want, run through the fear, take unknown massive action, make bad judgments, gain experience, make good judgments, and ultimately lead to your successful life. So again, guys, it's Jason here from the Omni Sales team. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got some value out of it and if you learned something, feel free to drop a like down below. Comment or DM us the word coach if you want some coaching. And guys, we can't wait to see where you go next. Love you guys, and we'll see you on the next video.